My colleagues, the executive commissioner, directors, the chairman of NITRA, who I saw your colleagues as my director of public affairs mentioned towards the tail end of last year, the director of Voice of Nigeria, and deputy director Radio Nigeria Lagos Operations. This is my first meeting with yourselves, correspondents. I met earlier with the executives in the space, and like my colleagues mentioned, this is a meeting I would have loved to have last year, but due to other pressing engagements, I was unable to, and my colleagues had to represent. Some of you I've met, some of you I already know, well, a few of you. Like my colleague mentioned, I am from a media family, but don't believe what they said. You know your job better than and I'll be relying on you to do the excellent job you've been doing so far. From all the feedback I've been getting over the years from the Commission, and of course from what I've been seeing of the Commission from even when I was before on this seat. I think as a Commission we cannot overemphasize the importance of media. Like my colleague mentioned, especially as a public institution, as the MDA of the government, we see you as the arm that projects both our successes and also as a control arm that will hold us accountable to the people to ensure that we are doing and delivering as promised by the government of the day. So I appreciate that role you play, and my sincere hope and prayer is that over the next coming years we'll continue to work in that spirit. I also want to use the opportunity to once again thank everyone here for your support. Like I said, towards getting the message to the public, projecting our brand and our work in positive light, and reporting our activities in the telecoms industry in a very fair and concise manner. And I also have to mention, I know how it is getting to events in Lagos. Some of you might have come from the island, some of you might have come from other parts of Lagos. So I also want to thank you for that sacrifice in making the time to be with us here. I will be very brief in my remarks so that I don't take too much of your time, because I know for you people, 24 hours in a day is not enough for you to do your work. So I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. Like my colleague mentioned, it's 100 days in office for me. Not that I plan to celebrate it to the big fanfare, but it's been 100 days of reflection for me, trying to observe and gather my thoughts, engage with stakeholders to really understand what do we need to do as we go into this next phase of the telecoms industry and start my own administration. So I think after reflection, I'll give a brief summary of how we view or how we'll be approaching the next couple of years. And I think the first thing I have to mention, I'll call out 4 areas where I think are going to be areas where we see as the drivers. Number 1 is collaboration. So I think in the spirit of how we've been working with our stakeholders, whether it is government, whether it is yourselves in the media, whether it is even the Nigerian consumer or telecom service, I think collaboration is going to be a very, very strong driver for us. The next driver is going to be being data-centric. I think we're living in a digital age, and as a regulator of the telecoms infrastructure, it goes without saying that we are sitting or in a pole position to be able to leverage the data which flows through our communication network to be able to make decisions that are well informed. So everything we do we're going to be, as much as possible, be data-driven. So we're going to be driving the collection of a lot of data from our stakeholders and also using that to project the work we're doing so that we can have a high level of transparency. Because what you don't measure and hold people accountable to, you cannot drive efficiency and performance. Compliance is also another driver. So, of course, as a regulator, as empowered by the NCA Act and regulations we've put in place, we have the powers to hold our licensees to their obligations. So over the past couple of years, I think the industry has been in what I would say development phase, but it's time we push ourselves into a maturity phase, whereby we'll be really driving compliance. So compliance is going to be something you're going to be seeing drive very strongly. Whatever our licensees have an obligation to meet, we will be expecting them to meet those obligations. If they have agreements between themselves, we will be expecting